I want to talk a little bit about the hybrid simulation aspect of the Spectracular card game. Basically, we are looking for ways to link the paper card game experience with the mobile app and the web dashboard. And of course, all of that's going to be done through data. We're using QR codes in the cards to help make that link. So you can imagine 4 students sitting around playing the paper card game, and as part of the upgrade of the paper card game, we are building a QR code system that allows for each one of these cards to have a QR code. And so if you can imagine a batch process where we generate a QR code based on a series of variable values that embed a set of data into every single paper card, no matter what kind of card it is, a structure card, an IR spectroscopy card. So you can imagine that every single card will have a unique QR code. So we can make as many of these QR codes as we'd like, and that means we can have an extensible framework for any number of paper cards, which allows us to think about kind of expansion packs or that sort of thing. So we can start with an initial set of paper cards, and then as we continue to explore or expand the ways in which we want to use this system, we can create additional sets of cards for specific subject areas or subsections of spectroscopy for organic chemistry, or for any other subject for that matter. So you can imagine these 4 students are playing this card game with these paper cards that have the QR codes in the cards as a label. And we are going to have 2 of these students here. So, let's say this student and this student are in the process of playing the game, and student A decides that they're going to make a match. So let's say they pick these 2 cards here and say, this is a match, based on whatever their reason is. And so let's say that student A, let's say student B decides that they want to challenge that match because they're not really sure if it's good or bad, but they think that it might be a less than stellar match. So student B says, wait a minute, I'm going to challenge that. I think the match that you've made is not quite great. So student B grabs their phone, and these 2 cards are then scanned based on the QR codes that are printed on the card. And so the phone makes the scan of each one, and there's this, so there's a coupled pair of scans that is then pulled back into the phone, and the mobile app then allows for algorithms to assist the learner in understanding more about what the positive and negative aspects of that match are, so that the second student has evidence to help them make the argument to the first student about whether or not the assumption they had about the match was correct or incorrect, and then it's just another way for students to learn about the the quality of the matches in spectroscopy. So then we'll know that based on the fact that the mobile app is communicating with a database, we will know that these students have just made this comparison about the paper card game in the classroom, which means that the teacher can then come back into the web dashboard later and make a comparison or have an understanding of the types of activities or decisions that a set of students has made about that particular subset of information during that day of class or at any time. So there's a way for this teacher to keep track of all of the the simulation layer of what students are doing in real time in their classrooms with the paper card game that they can then go back later and get an understanding of what the patterns are around how students are learning about different aspects of spectroscopy, in this case for organic chemistry, while they're playing the paper card game at different points throughout the classroom experience from one semester to the next. And there's no reason that a student couldn't also use that same dashboard, from their profile to go back in addition to being able to review things on their app and pull up their own trajectory of learning over time about all the experiences they've had in a slightly different interface than what might be available on a mobile app. So that's a little bit more about how the hybrid simulation layer is going to work based on embedding data in paper cards using QR codes that can be scanned by the mobile app and then used as evidence in a live classroom situation as well as in a later review situation where the student can go back and either look at the web dashboard or the mobile app and think about all of the experiences they've had in the paper card game in the classroom to kind of reinforce or scaffold their review of their learning at any point after they're outside of the classroom.